let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Oh, flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with your front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This
offer has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh. Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Guys, let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through.
News, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop, In Adabraka, in Accra, my name is Selom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with
Inu Safo.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes, Finance Minister says steady decline of inflation is a signal at a government's effort at restoring macroeconomic stability. November recorded a rate of 26.4%. And what does this mean for you? We'll tell you more on this. Also coming up, passport application fees may soon jump from 100 cedis to 400 cedis. Government says subsidizing the application fee is not prudent use of resources. Still on Eyewitness News, Natural Resources Minister once again justifies lithium mining agreement, describes it as one that prioritizes value addition to Ghana's green minerals. We'll tell you more on this later. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citynewsroom.com. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
Chamber of Petroleum Consumers anticipates a decrease in fuel prices ahead of festive season.
There is more business in the next 50 minutes. If you are in the Upper West region in Nadoli, this is Tumpani Radio 88.5 FM. In Jirapa, this is Jirapa 96.1 FM. Both stations in the Upper West region. In the Upper East region, this is Rekas 92.1 FM. In Bongo, Namu. In the Northern region, this is North Star 92.1 Radio. In Tamale, in the Northeast region, this is Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalerugu. In the Western region, Beach 105.5 FM and Sky Power 93.5 FM, both in Takoradi. In the Ashanti region, Focus 94.3 FM on the NUS campus, KNUST campus in Kumasi, and also Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, this is Sela Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala, Holy FM 98.5 at Aflawe. In the Savannah region, this is Kasha 99.5 FM in Damango. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. You can follow me on Twitter at Selom Adonu. The hashtag, as always, is Citi Newsroom. Eno gives us our first story.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has attributed the decline in inflation to the government's endeavors to restore macroeconomic stability in the economy. The inflation rate has decreased for the fourth consecutive time, with November recording a rate of 26.4%. Speaking at the dividend presentation of 30.89 million Ghana cedis to the Trifle Oil Palm Plantation Limited to the government, Ken Ofori-Atta accentuated the significant impact of these efforts on the economic landscape.
We saw yesterday inflation come down to 26.4%, which is literally half of where we were at 54 point something at the end of last year. So it's quite an impressive performance. And I know we've gone through very difficult times, but you look at inflation being halved, we see our growth, which was expected to be 1.5%, double at 3%. And then we look at the currency depreciation, which since February has been about 7.2% decline, quite a bit of stability. And the inflation also indicated that Greater Accra had the slowest growth inflation. That is good. Food inflation is still problematic, but even that was down considerably from the 44% effect to about 32 this time. So the supply is not a problem. I think the logistical movement is what we need to get efficient about.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, Deputy Minister of Finance Abanose Asare also encouraged state-owned enterprises to work to be profitable as the government continues to improve the business environment for growth.
And we just also want to send a signal to other entities that they should do likewise, because government cannot continue to invest in these companies and whatever is due government not being given to government. And so for that, We appreciate what you have done, and we ask that we'll continue to work with you in partnership to make sure you sustain this growth that we are seeing at your end. And like I said, government will also create that enabling environment for you to thrive and also be able to do more.
That was the Deputy Finance Minister for Finance, Abna Osei, sorry.
Deputy Minister for Finance, Abna Osei, sorry, you mean. All right, so let's go to the phone lines and speak to Dr. Patrick Esumin, who is an economist on this matter. Indeed, Doc, good evening, welcome to Eyewitness News. Inflation now dropped to 26.4% for November. And against the backdrop that sometime around last year, we were hovering around the 50%. I mean, what does this mean for Ghana's, economy? Last year, around this time, I mean, things were really tough. Inflation was around 54%. Finance Minister thinks that inflation coming down to 26.4% after seeing a steady decline is indicative of government's effort at restoring macroeconomic stability. What do you think?
Good evening, Salon. Good evening to listeners. Thanks for having me. Indeed, I think if you compare where we ended last year, the 54.1%, and coming all the way down to 26.4%, I think that it's progress. I think if you've seen, I think about 5 consecutive months of decline in the rate of inflation. And this one has been the steepest we've seen in a long time. So clearly, it's a sign that on the inflation front, we are headed in the right direction. We still have to understand that this is way off where we should be. Our medium-term target is 6 to 10%. So if we are 26%, we are way off. But the fact that we are headed in the right direction, we've seen consistent declines. I think that this inflation is good.
I see. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think, that is just one indicator. I mean, even if you look at the macroeconomic environment, the inflation indicator is just one. We have to look at where interest rates are still sitting. Mm-hmm. We have to look at how the currency is still performing. We have to look at the growth and then how the growth is being distributed. And then we even have to look beyond the macroeconomic indicators in terms of beginning to say that the effort that government is putting in is beginning to yield results.
I see. So, yeah, that's just one indicator. But the minister also went ahead to talk about the other indicators. So he said that, we saw, I'm quoting, we see our growth, which was expected to be 1.5%, double to 3%. That may be quite some progress too. He said, and we look at currency depreciation, which since February has been about 7.2%, declined a bit. So these other indicators, also appear to be pointing in the right direction. That should be progress, and that should confirm what it means that they are restoring macroeconomic stability.
So it is correct, on the surface it's correct. The growth number is higher than what we projected. That's true. But we have to understand that on that trajectory, we are even going to be lower than 2021. But more importantly, the 3.2% that we recorded in the first half of the year, when you begin to break it down and look beyond and see where the growth is coming from, really, it is the sectors that were controlled by government, that's all the highest growth. In fact, when you decide to disaggregate the growth and look at it in terms of consumption by households, investment by businesses, government expenditures on goods and services, and net export, you do see that actually business investment actually declined. And I think that points us to what may happen going forward. If businesses are not investing, it's a sign of trouble. So I think we shouldn't read too much into that headline number that the growth was double what it was, what our expectation was, because there are devils in that when you begin to look at the details. The currency depreciation, yes, this year has been, in fact, since February, it's been relatively stable. But, we have to understand that a big part of that is because we are not paying our foreign debt. The moment we start resuming our foreign debt, you begin to see where we really is. I don't think the current stability of the city we are seeing is supported by the longer term fundamentals. Yes, our exports have done very well for much of right now. I think our trade surplus is very, very high. But we've had a positive trade surplus since 2017. And yet the currency has been depreciating. That's because the economy is still extremely over-reliant on foreign financing. And the moment there are any jitters in international markets, we begin to see the currency depreciating again. So it's good to see that this year the currency has largely performed better. But I think that we all know if we start resuming the payment of our foreign debt, the trouble may come flattened back. So I think while these indicators show that we are headed in the right direction, number one, you have to understand that we are nowhere near where we should be. And secondly, we have to rather build more sustainable, build the economy more sustainably so that when we see these positive indicators, we can really be firmly assured that, we are going to see longer term progress.
What do you mean by saying we should build the economy more sustainably? What should we be doing that we are not doing?
So I think that that there are fundamental weaknesses in the economy. There are fundamental weaknesses coming from the structural problems of producing goods and services. Now, last month there was this discussion about trying to restrict imports. The economy is still extremely dependent on imported goods and services and foreign financing. What we should know is that those are always going to give us problems. And we need to invest more in improving domestic production. There are infrastructural weaknesses in the economy. And if you start breaking down our budget, you see that next year, we are not going to spend much fixing our infrastructural issues that will bring us sustainable long-term growth. And even though our currency is doing well now, we know it's because it's something artificial that is sustaining the currency. It is not coming from a fundamental change in how we finance the economy that will reduce our susceptibility to long-term shocks in the international market. So we have to address those. We can right now, because we are seeing some positive elements, these are transient in the main. The fundamental things where we begin to see the Ghanaian economy producing, adding value, and then being a little bit more inward looking and reducing our dependence on foreign financing. We are not tackling them. So yes, what we are doing is bearing fruits, but I think that we know if we continue on this path, it's only a matter of time before the difficulties return.
I see. We have the IMF also in the mix. How much of this seeming, macroeconomic stability will you attribute to the IMF program?
I think that from where we were last year, the IMF program has helped a lot. I think you have to understand that the measures we started implementing didn't start in May, even though May is where the announcement was made. The fact that we have to put a lot of trial revenue generation measures, and we have to suspend paying of our debt. All of those kind of brought some form of stability. Now, I think that is as much as we will get. The IMF program will definitely bring, when we implement like this, it will bring some stability in the macroeconomic environment. The most important thing is how do we sustain this when IMF is not in town? And secondly, how do we build on that macroeconomic stability to build a proper sustaining economy? So the simple answer to your question is that yes, the IMF program has contributed to the stability we are seeing.
All right. Doc, thanks so much. Dr. Patrick Isumin is an economist with the University of Ghana Business School. Thanks so much for speaking to us as always. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM, Finance Minister says the fact of the steady decline of inflation, it's a signal that government is restoring the country's macroeconomic stability. Dr. Sumin thinks, yes, there's quite some progress being made there, but we shouldn't celebrate yet, and that there are more things to do. We must build the economy more sustainably, and that a few other things need to be properly put in place before we start jubilating. Now let's get to the ground really and speak to the people who are most affected by the headline inflation figures and all of that. Let's speak to Guta, the president of that association, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, Dr. Joseph Obin joined us on the line. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness. Yesterday, we saw that inflation for the fifth time or so has declined, and now it's at 26.4%. The finance minister thinks that it is a sign of things to come. Government is managing the economy prudently, and government is restoring macroeconomic stability. You deal with traders, and you are traders. You work and everything, but people think that once inflation is declining, we should be beginning to see some effect of that when we go to the market. But it does appear that is not what pertains when people come out to purchase things. What do you say to that?
Yeah, we should know that we are coming from somewhere where the inflation was somewhere about 54%. At that time, the exchange rate was also very high. The last quarter of 2022, we experienced a high rate of depreciation. And then when the IMF first tranche of the 600 million came, we have experienced a long-term stability of the city. I think that is the one that is doing the magic and pulling the inflation down. But we are also expecting that the monetary policy rate should also come down along with the inflation, so that cost of borrowing and other costs of doing business, if they come down, then of course we'll be able to bring inflation down to the barest minimum. That will help the consuming public and the trading public as well. But when we gain, when there's a positive trend of inflation, that's when it goes downwards, it helps us a lot, because it means that our consuming public are able to purchase the volume that they used to buy, where our turnover is also affected positively for us to also gain in terms of servicing our loans and servicing our suppliers' credit. They should be encouraged to do even more. But I'm saying that we will not do this in isolation, depending on the work of the Bank of Ghana. The general cost of doing business is also part of this, and we should do everything as much as possible to reduce some of the cost of doing business in this country, so that it will drastically pull down the rate of inflation in this country.
I see. So it's one thing at a time. So the minister also says that exchange rate, for example, is remained stable, and you traders use the exchange rate is a very important matter to you, because you purchase a lot of things using the dollar, and if the rate is not stable, you are not able to plan. It says that the rate has been relatively stable throughout the year, and that points to some good things, right?
Yeah, definitely so. But then we don't have to be complacent, especially when the second tranche of the 600 million hasn't come, because it will come within time, so that we can sustain the gains that we have so far gotten. Because the traditionally the end of the year through to January see depreciation of our currency. I hope you know that, and so we have to be very serious in how to manage so that we do not get there again. Because if it happens, then it would throw away all the gains that we are experiencing now. Yeah.
I see. Thanks so much, Dr. Joseph, for being Guta president of the Ghana Union Traders Association, for speaking to us on this matter. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. I will return and do more. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Bibi, are you okay, madam? Everything is fine.
Oh, nice.
Hey, wait, I can hear another heartbeat. Eh? Wait, it's 2 more heartbeats.
Auntie Ness, babe, what are you saying?
Hey, you're having triplets.
Hey, Radimu. Oh my God.
Sir.
Mommy, not today, oh.
Life is great at throwing up unplanned situations, and many of them will revolve around money. Fight financial anxiety, embrace freedom, and the confidence of knowing that you've got it even before you need it. With the Access Bank Visa Platinum Credit Card, you get a disposable income without depending on your salary. Pay for what you need without begging for a loan. Manage your lifestyle on your own terms. It's possible. It's freedom. For more information, visit our website www.ghana.accessbankplc.com or call our toll-free 0800 004400. Access freedom. Access more. Access Bank. More than banking.
On 19 December 2023, oh, vote for the women for a better Ghana. The time for women is now. Let us vote, oh, vote for the women for a better Ghana. I go, fellow Ghanaians. The Electoral Commission of Ghana has set Tuesday, 19 December 2023 for the District Assembly elections. On that day, we are encouraging all Ghanaians of voting age to go out and vote, especially for more women into our assembly.
I know. Assembly about to no airbass roya busuni mu. I had a diet also a don't chrono. Kai say, a bad to wow, better about Wejla on Peswasono.
There are currently over 9,000 assembly members in all the 261 assemblies in Ghana. Out of these, only about 800 are women. This is less than 10%.
Wouldn't you say? Why am I moo a mad dog so chain member? Now, so a bar assembly members are measuring out a bar bako and 9 year look heavy no war assembly hall. A balosa and what 80 Mumayi Namwa, my mad do. Or see assembly about to you. Anne, Umaya to Yaba and man.
Your vote for a woman on December 19, 2023 will help increase women representation at your assembly for equitable development.
Kai say you got a bad do or your assembly more. A bad one, my assembly no, I can't kai ever to do.
When men and women take decisions together, we all win. Yes, the time for women is now. This message is brought to you by the National Association of Local Authorities of Ghana, NALA. The time for women is now. Let us vote for the women for a better Ghana. On 19 December 2023, oh, vote for the women for a better Ghana. The time for women is now. Let us vote for the women for a better Ghana. For economic development, let us vote for the women for a better Ghana. For quality education, let us vote for the women for a better Ghana. For health and sanitation, let us vote for the women for a better Ghana.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. Parliament has approved an amount of $338 million for the redevelopment and expansion of the Accra-Tema motorway project. The project was necessitated by the rapid deterioration of the motorway, which often results in traffic congestion and accidents. The project would comprise construction works on the 5.7-kilometer George Bush Highway and a portion of the Nsawam Road linking from the New Plan interchange to Apenkwa. Here are excerpts of proceedings from Parliament.
The first tranche, being the motorway, Mr. Speaker, has 10 lanes that hitting the Tetapashi motorway. The Tetapashi circle will also be managed and properly constructed so that the 10 lanes coming from Tema will hit the Tetapashi, that there wouldn't be any congestion and any problems going forward. But more significantly is the construction and the contractor. The competence of the contractor is very critical. This is the time that we have to develop local efficiency, local capacity, and local competence. And therefore, the Tamamoto way, which is over 50 years, particularly the concrete part of the property or the structure, is said that you need the capacity of a contractor that is not doubted. And therefore, the contractor, the Maripoma contractor, demonstrating all the competence and efficiency for this project is appropriate. And that is why we support it. And the expectation is that the first tranche will be constructed, will be executed to give way, to give room, to give back for the second and the third tranches.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this motion moved by the chairman of the Rules and Rights. Mr. Speaker, as rightly said by the ranking and the chairman, the construction of the motorway is long overdue. This is therefore a welcome news to Ghanaians that the government, through the GIF, is arranging this facility to reconstruct the Tema motorway. Mr. Speaker, the committee was briefed by the Minister of Rules and its agencies, and per our discussion, Mr. Speaker, daily traffic on the motorway is about 60,000 vehicles. And I believe that if it is developed into the 10 lane, it will ease the traffic situation in the motorway. So I'm happy that the Minister of Rules is doing this through our local contractors called Manapoma. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at the work that Manapoma is doing in Ofankon Road, it is therefore important that we all support this particular arrangement. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you for it. Let me thank the committee for this report. Mr. Speaker, the history of the Tamamoto Way dates back to the days of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame. Coup-makers who overthrew him, one of the reasons was that he undertook a luxury project, spent so much money for a short 18-kilometer road. It is evident to anybody to see that after all these years, that investment was worth it. So, Speaker, in my recent debates on the budget, I had argued. In their report, it stated that the funding will mainly come from the oil annual budget funding amount. So, Speaker, and I've argued strongly that after almost 15 years of oil production, we should be beginning to focus on big major projects in Ghana using oil revenue, so that when the oil is depleted, we are able to point to projects that actually we use the oil for. And so it is very, very important that we focus on that. 10 lanes are big. Mr. Speaker, the concerns in this report has to do with the structure of the financing. And people have expressed concern. I look at the structure. If it's coming from annual budget funding amount, and it's coming through gifts, what is the other company, AdCap Limited, we are consultant and all that. That doesn't make the funding very straightforward. I'm not a financial expert, but I believe that the ultimate purpose is to expand the traffic congestion and the use of the motorway, which is very critical. And the Speaker, the starting point of using oil money to focus on very critical infrastructure, roads, highways, that will last a lifetime, that will endure to the benefit of even generations to come. And that is very, very important.
Those were excerpts of proceedings by some members of parliament on their approval of an amount of $338 million for the redevelopment and expansion of the Accra-Tema motorway project. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has attributed the inefficiency of Parliament in effectively exercising its oversight role over the executive to an unfair distribution of resources. He pointed out that the government's allocation of 600 million cedis inadequately empowers the legislature to scrutinize the executive, which typically receives billions of cedis. Speaking at a press soiree in Ho in the Volta region as part of the 30th anniversary celebration of uninterrupted parliamentary democracy in Ghana, Mr. Bagbin stressed the necessity for reforms to enhance parliamentary governance in the country.
Arms of government is in the form of a tripod. So you have so much power to be executive. Nobody sees it wrong what they do. And so if the president in an annual budget can take, for example, 3 billion Ghana cedis for the office of the president, and the whole arm that is to hold the president to account is giving about 600 million cedis for everything. Now, how can that weak body hold that mighty executive to account? The person is struggling to survive. No. The people you have to hold to account, they pass in jet planes. You are walking where they are going. How are you going to get him to account you?
Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin is the Speaker of Parliament. Still on the Speaker, he says it is imperative to grant traditional leaders a defined role in the governance of the country. He argued that the existing constitution is flawed in restricting traditional leaders from active participation in politics and advocated for its rectification as part of the ongoing constitutional review.
We might give them positions. The current constitution is wrong in saying that they should not participate in active politics. I don't know what that means, active politics. The Supreme Court has interpreted it to us. But what is he here for? Is to lead you to develop. What is politics for? Politics is about development. So if you say they cannot do the politics, then who else can do it? I think we got that one wrong. And if you go to Botswana, and you go to many countries, there are chiefs there. If you go to Senegal, even because of the presence of such elders in their parliament, the government will collapse. Because the government over there, the MPs from the party that won are just a few. The opposition has more MPs than the government. And so the people that help that parliament to develop are the elders, the traditional leaders. They gave them quota. So a number of them are in parliament. And so they sit there and manage the situation, and they are now settled.
You heard the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin.
All right, now the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration is seeking to increase the amount Ghanaians pay to secure passports from 100 cedis to about 600 cedis. The minister explains that the deficit in the printing of passport booklets was preventing the necessary investments in the passport office. Speaking on the floor of Parliament before the approval of a 1.27 million budget estimate, 1.127 billion budget estimate for her ministry, Shelley Arekoboche noted that a proposal is currently being considered by the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation.
Opportunity to thank this honorable house, especially